This is a 1-inch thick piece of black walnut. And then I intend for this to be the top of this guitar. And so what I have to do, the first thing I need to do is flatten this. It is cupped. The surface that's up now is high in the middle. And when I flip it over, the opposite side will be high on the edges. And you've seen this played out over and over in my build videos. This is hand tool woodworking. And this is how you thickness the pieces. And basically what I'll do is I'll work on the center until I get it down where everything's reasonably flat, and then I'll move and work on the whole board to come down to a final flatness that's appropriate for what I'm trying to do. And I'm going across now because it really didn't take all that much to flatten the center. It's not cut very much at all. And so now I'm moving across the piece, and yeah, sometimes it wants to move around and stuff like that. I really need, like a set of bench dogs or something like that. But later on you'll see that I'll clamp it down. I'll do everything I need to do. And now we're going to work on the other side. And once again, like I say, I'm going to start on the ends because that's what's proud on this side. And now you see the board moving around a lot. My bench is outside, and though I flattened and leveled it when I built it, I probably, well, I know it's not probably, I do. I actually need to take the hand plane and flatten it again, because with freeze and thaw and wet and dry and hot and cold and everything in between, the surface of this bench is not level anymore. That's why a lot of times you'll see me lay a piece of 3/4 inch plywood down and then put the workpiece on top of that, because I know that the bench top is not flat. But it's not a critical thing. I just need a bench I can work at, I can fasten things down to, and do the work that I need to do. And this is rough lumber. It's not dimensioned. This came right off a mill probably 60 years ago or 100 years ago. This was a piece of wood that a friend of mine had in their barn, and they are elderly, and the barn was in the property that they live on, barn included, was passed down through his family from what I understand. So there's no telling how old this piece of wood is, but that's fine with me because that means that it's well seasoned. But now this is some hard walnut. I mean, stupid hard walnut. And it's got that, you see that lighter piece there on the edge? That's sapwood. I'm hoping that I can join this guitar top in such a way that I can kind of highlight that sapwood. And you'll see what I mean. And now I'm coming along the whole of the piece, and I'm not going to thickness this or dress it completely because I want to save room for thicknessing it. Now what I have to do, I'm marking the center of this board along the width. Because what I have to do is do what is called a resaw, so that I can book match. Basically what that means is that I'm going to saw this piece of wood down the center on the edge and then open it up like a book, and what you get is essentially a two-piece top that has a mirror image to each side. And to do this, I'm going to use a handsaw. Now I'll tell you, if you got a bandsaw, or if you know somebody with a bandsaw, beg, borrow, steal, whatever you have to do, because this is flipping work. This is dig a ditch work. This is hard flipping work right here. And I have a sharp saw. But this walnut, like I said, it's well seasoned. And it's hard. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here on that front edge, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to slowly drop my saw, keeping my line straight, until I get to the edge that is facing me. And then what I'll do is begin to drop the saw. And I'll saw along the edge that's facing me, making sure that I keep the saw curve in the center of the board. And then what I'll do is I'll flip this board around once I get down low enough, and do the same on the other side. And this is a technique I learned from someone on YouTube. I do not remember the gentleman's name. If I can find him again, I'll link to him, because I really do appreciate him sharing his knowledge so that I could do this. So now I'm going to flip this around. And do the same thing on this side. What you end up with is a V in the center. And so now I'll go down the center until I reach the depth of the cuts on the sides, and then I'll just repeat the process. You see, I've gone quite a bit, about a third of the way through the board now. But you see, dropping that hand, and I'll just repeat this process until I cut the thing in half. And you see here, I'm very close. And it's hard to deal with because you can't clamp it down or anything, because it'll clamp the saw in between that board. So you see it's book matched. And now what I want to do is kind of, not really thicknessing it, but I'm kind of roughly leveling these boards. Like I said, I'm not going to go completely to it, because when I join these boards, one side there might be like the middle or the edge of one end might be higher on one side, and the other side it might be lower, and I might have to, and probably will have to, thickness it and flatten it out again. And I want to leave room, enough wood, that I can do that and still have my thickness. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to join these two together and put the edges, the faces of the edges that will be joined together up, and I'm going to use the hand plane and do what's called joint this edge, these edges rather, so that when I put the piece together and glue it, there won't be any gaps. So now it's time for glue up, and you can see roughly if you look that there's a mirror image to the top, and you see that sap line. Hopefully you'll see it when I set the board down again. I don't know. You might have heard that little sigh I just did. I'm sorry, but that flipping wore me out. As a matter of fact, about 2/3 of the way through, I stopped and went inside and took a half-hour break. Because that's blooming work, buddy. Now you see you can't see it as well because I didn't smooth the one side that's closest to me as much as I did the other. But that sap line's going to go down the center. It should look pretty nice. And there's a bit of like green mineral deposit or something along that sap line as well. And I think if it shows up on the finish, it'll be really nice. And there it is in the clamps. I'll let it dry and then we'll be back. I appreciate you watching. Bless you. Have a great day or night whenever it is you're watching this. And I'll talk to you later.